This is a fella that I have followed for a long time. I've watched him grow from a seedling, and his branches have just completely covered the entire community of Star Wars fans. I think his opinions on Star Wars are so prevalent that there's like a type of Star Wars fan basically copies this guy's opinions. Over time, this guy has done a lot of prequel apologia to the point where there is a large majority of the Star Wars community who just love the prequels all of a sudden. And like they think that the best character in Star Wars is Qui-Gon Jinn. It's just like a weird niche community thing, but it's been something I followed since since like 2016. And as we all know, in 2016, there was a big kerfuffle about The Last Jedi. That movie. I've been a Star Wars fan for a long time. I didn't like The Last Jedi, not because it wasn't faithful to some sort of like traditional narrative around Star Wars, more so that it really just derailed the entire saga and it left for nothing to happen in the sequel. And they really gutted a great character, which was Finn. He was set up pretty well in the first one. So I just didn't like that very much. Hey. I feel like a bit of a loser asking this, guys, but can you hit me with a little like? Just a little one. What the fuck is your problem? It only takes 1 second. Just do it. You're so rude and nasty. You need to work on your attitude. And subscribe if you like my videos. And if you're enjoying this one. Watch till the end. A lot of people got mad, not because of those reasons at that movie. Initially they did because of those reasons. And then later on it became Luke Skywalker wasn't cool. Luke Skywalker wasn't a cool guy in that movie. He was sad. Luke Skywalker wouldn't be sad. I know him personally. He wouldn't be sad if he fucking don't. You don't know. And now he's a stoic warrior. Just completely neutered of his personality. I think that's what they wanted to do to Luke. Luke became a lot more mature in Return of the Jedi. He was supposed to be more mature. But he had moments of weakness, even in that movie. To say that Luke doesn't have moments of weakness is a complete betrayal of the character of Luke Skywalker. And people seem to think that that's like obscene for like Luke Skywalker to have vulnerable moments. It doesn't make sense because that's his whole character. I preface this all to say there's a fella. And he's very popular. So popular, in fact. More popular than this fellow, but we'll get to him in a second. He made a couple of claims about the new movie, or the new TV show on Disney+, The Acolyte. Let's first look at the initial reaction to what the people said, because this is what they actually said, okay? And we'll go into what he says on the Critical Drinker podcast.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But in my world, they're gay.
I don't think nerds are threatened about gay stuff. I don't know why he's creating enemies and saying bullshit. Nerds don't care if someone is gay. Nerds don't care who you love. Nerds just want...
Yeah, dude. You speak for all nerds. Every single one of them. There are a lot of cynical people who basically psyop culture war stuff like Star Wars and cynically use it, not being fans at all, like what they do with Warhammer 40k. They don't have any interest in the actual game itself. They just like the Imperium and they want to be them. They do this with Starship Troopers. They did it with that new game. There are people who are cynical and they're not actually nerds and they don't care about Star Wars at all. A lot of people fall for the narratives that these people express.
Cool nerd shit, like a well-written story. That's all we care about. I don't care who you love. You're a human at the end of the day. And so am I, and that's all that fucking matters. Oh, God. People who don't like gay people are homophobes. Those are assholes. Nerds just want cool shit. We just want cool stories. We also don't need your sexual preference shoved in our face.
On Pride Month, bro? Come on.
Non-stop. I don't need to know you're straight. I don't care. I don't need to know you're gay. I don't care. Just tell me a good story. The rest is irrelevant.
And are you telling me, with a straight face, that C-3PO is straight?
They're a couple. That's what I think. But this is...
Look how mad he looks, dude. Why is he so mad? Relax, dude. This is like lighthearted banter. This is not like serious shit. You are not meant to take this conversation seriously. If you do, I'm sorry, you're autistic. You don't understand social cues.
outward.
I think it's canon that R2-D2 is a lesbian.
Oh,
Ooh.
interesting.
Yeah.
I thought R2 was a guy. There goes all my canon knowledge. God, when did they drop this nugget of info?
But let's see what he says on here.
I don't know how much abuse Star Wars fans get. Like, we just want good stories, man. You got Kathleen Kennedy saying that we hate women. You got Leslie Headland or whatever that interviewer saying nerds hate gay people, threatened by them.
I love how they use her as like the scapegoat when it was the interviewer who said that. Like they show her picture, but it wasn't her who said it. It was the interviewer.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true.
I find that really funny. Like it has to be a woman that they vilified.
And now the show is meant to shit on white people? I mean, I don't... What the fuck else do you want?
Well,
Like, we just want good stories, man. Like,
We just want good stories, man. But no black people. Remember when they made that Obi-Wan movie and there were just fucking a barrage? It was a barrage of like racist DMs that the character that played Reva, that actor, got fucking decimated because not only was she a woman, she was also black. So people didn't like that one bit. This happens every time there's a Star Wars movie. You can't just ignore the fact that every time there's something Star Wars, this happens. We can't just be like, yeah, I guess people are gonna be racist, whatever, yeah, and just not talk about it like it doesn't, like it never happened. Like, what if that actress didn't say anything about the DM she got and she just kept it quiet? Don't say anything about this because then we don't want the Star Wars fans to think we think they're racist. You guys are. This happens every time. You guys can't feign ignorance anymore. It's already, it's too late.
this alone, nerds were literally the outcasts.
Yeah.
We accepted everybody. We don't care if you're gay, straight. A girl who's a nerd, a girl who's into Star Wars, are you kidding me?
This is true, what he's saying. It used to be like that. And then it got co-opted by a bunch of far-right people, cynically. And I think a lot of nerds adopted the same talking points. Pretty much like it's like, oh, this is the headcanon of what it is to be a Star Wars fan, basically. This is the main critique that everyone seems to like go on, and I'm just gonna adopt it because this is what every other Star Wars fan thinks. And that's how you make a fan base racist. You just get a couple cynical actors in there, you rabble rouse, you get a narrative going, and then next thing you know, the whole community basically believes the same thing over time.
That was the kind of our way of thinking, is that we would accept everybody because we were outcasts. No one liked nerds back in the day. Now it's like completely shifted where being a nerd is cool and trendy and you can make money from it and you can join the clique. It's bullshit.
He's seeing it. Trying to say
And it's become this like weird political version of what it once was.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of well.
I love how Critical Drinker has to like dance around that one, what he just said. That's all the Critical Drinker does. He takes media and he politicizes it.
The best way I could liken this is like, say you just got a group of friends who gathered together to play Dungeons and Dragons, a shared hobby you all like, Das Kapital, and I want you guys to all.
What? Shared hobby? Did they like cut that weird? Shared hobby everyone likes, Das Kapital. You just like threw in Das Kapital. Dude, if you're fucking walking up, if you're going to a tabletop game and you're like, let's play Das Kapital. I want to read the Communist Manifesto tonight. Okay, but we're trying to do it. If you do that, they're gonna kill you. That's how you never get invited to an event like that ever again. Like you won't get invited anymore. Period. What does he think this is? Does that actually happen in his head, or is he just like coming up with a metaphor that doesn't really make any sense?
About why communism is the way forward for all of us, and then the rest of them are like, I'm not really sure about that. I just want to play Dungeons and Dragons and just have an adventure. Why are you such a bigot? Why do you hate change? Why can't you accept people for who they are? That's the same analogy
What the fuck is he talking about?
we've got here. You're trying to bring all of your political baggage into just a nerddom. That's all they cared about. And when people pushed back against,
It's so funny because he's literally describing what happened. He's literally describing what the Nazis did to Star Wars.
you've just hit them with every slur under the book.
I
That's
like
what
when
every fan base has become now.
And then the natural reaction is to call them every slur in the book. You got to understand that, like, this didn't happen, like, magically. This happened over years, starting with Gamergate, that Star Wars has become this toxic, extremely toxic place. It never was like this. I mean, I'm sure there were elements of it, but it wasn't this bad.
That's the thing. Diversity is great. We love diversity that's proportional and isn't like the thrust or the main point of things. But they said in the New York Times interview that they want to showcase diversity, which means they want to go.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that this means, okay? I see a lot of people on Twitter, and what they do is they'll show an 80 movies clip, and they'll be like, notice anything? Notice anything? You see? Movies were so much better back then. And it's like, there's only white people in the movie. And the only dark-skinned people are the ones that mug you in the middle of an alley, and the white guy comes in and uses judo to fucking knock their heads into the wall. That was always the extent of it. Nowadays, you watch a movie, and the main cast are different than you. They're not white men. All different kinds. They're diverse. And diversity, it's not like important in the sense that like there has to be a quota, but it's important that people see it in like mainstream media or mainstream entertainment. Obviously, the story is the most important thing, but no one's disputing that. Everybody knows that. No one thinks that diversity is more important than a good movie, right? You know, it shouldn't be number one but it's not number one on the minds of an artist, okay? If it might be, maybe sometimes in very rare instances, maybe. I don't think really, with all the things they have to think about as a director or writer or whatever, I don't think they're thinking about that. If you ever written a story, you would know that. It's kind of ridiculous. And that's like a mission statement thing on a corporate level. But so what? I think it's a good thing. One of the good things corporations do sometimes, actually. I think this guy, the Joe Rogan of Star Wars here, I think he's being duped by these right-wing guys, because he doesn't realize that the reason why the stories aren't good is not because of diversity. And everyone else is saying that, so he's like being grifted into it. But he doesn't know that the real reason why the stories suck is because the executives are making stupid decisions. And it has nothing to do with diversity. That might be part of the mission statement. And that's why all the, right-wing people are getting mad. They're not getting mad that the movies aren't good. They don't care about the movies. Don't get washed by these fucks that are cynically using Star Wars as a political tool. It's bullshit. What takes you out of it? I don't understand. You don't like that there's other people in the show? Why? Did you see Mace Windu in the prequels and went, oh, fuck. Oh. I don't like that. Why does he have a purple lightsaber? Why does he get a cool lightsaber? Nobody else does. Affirmative action. Oh, so he got the affirmative action lightsaber. So he gets a leg up on everybody else in the movie. I see. Oh, he's special, huh? I didn't see that a lot back then. This is why you don't take any of this seriously, is because none of these critiques are important. They're just not. They're pathetic loser white guys who are like mad that Star Wars isn't white anymore. I mean, I do not care.
Entirely reasonable, but they want to think of it in grandiose terms. It must therefore mean that you're bigoted or that you're morbid or you're reactionary.
Yes. If you can't stand to see black people in a show, you're racist. Yeah. That is how it works.
In some way. It's just not that at all.
It's such an interesting choice of words.
I love how you have to like twist yourself into pretzels to like somehow say that I don't want to watch a movie because there's black people in it or gay people or whatever, but I'm not bigoted. It's not the case at all. You're the one who's delusional. What are you, fucking gaslighting me? Dude, I'm not your fucking 15-year-old girlfriend, all right? I know this motherfucker has one, okay?
As well, showcase diversity. Like literally say showing people a concept car or something and saying hey, we got diversity here. Aren't you impressed? Look at it. Look at the diversity that we made. Aren't we amazing? It's like, no, if you were smart, it would just be a natural part of what you've created. It's a natural part of the story, and no one would need to make a big deal out of it. No one would even...
That's what they're trying to do. I don't think there's no scene in Star Wars where Reva announces that she's black. No one talks about that in Star Wars because it's not a thing in Star Wars.
It's just there. That's how you actually influence people. Yeah. But when you make it into this thing,
they get mad at press releases, dude. What they do is they don't look at the art. They don't watch the art. They don't actually look at it for what it is. They just look at the press release of whatever. And then once the show comes out, it's like, I don't like the show. It's just never. It's so pathetic and sad. This is what it's become to be a Star Wars fan.
that you have to fight over, that's when you turn people against the very cause that you claim to uphold.
Some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But
Yeah.
in my world, nerds are gay.
Those are homophobes.
Those gays are going to come in the window and get me.
They're like jump scares.
What did I think that this guy's a big baby man-child, okay? He needs to get a grip on his life.
Kennedy said, operating within these giant franchises now, with social media and the...
Okay. This guy's gone full-on right-wing, like, grifter mode. If you hate the new Star Wars, you're a sexist and a bigot, not because the writing was bad.
Of expectation, it's terrifying. I think Leslie has struggled a little bit with it. I think a lot of the women...
He's like fucking 4 years behind, dude. He's like... He's all the way back in 2016. He's coming up with these realizations now.
Step into Star Wars struggle with this a bit more. Because of the fan base being so male-dominated, they sometimes get attacked in ways that can be quite personal. And again, asshole fans are asshole fans. We are not talking about the...
Okay, dude. This is like the not all men thing. This is the not all men argument. If they're not talking about you, shut up. If you don't think that you cultivate negativity in a community and you're not doing anything wrong, don't act like you're the problem if you're not. What are you doing? It's like if a cop comes up to you and they go, somebody in this area has been stealing bubble gum. Have any of you guys stole some bubble gum? Well, you know, when I was 10 years old, I stole some bubble gum, but that doesn't really matter, does it? Like, maybe I stole bubble gum, maybe a couple times. I don't know. Just say no. They can't handle it. You know, they're calling themselves off to jail with all this shit.
People. But when you are the head of Lucasfilm and you are speaking generally and saying that it's so difficult to work for Star Wars because it is a predominantly male fan base, you just look like a clown.
Dude, this happens every time. When there's a new woman that's going into Star Wars, they get fucking dogpiled. And it happens. You can't act like it doesn't happen. They imagine this world where there's these benevolent fans that don't attack these women whenever they become actors for a Star Wars movie. And it's very frustrating for them. And it's scary sometimes. And they just they just dismiss it like it doesn't matter.
Freddie Prinze Jr.'s comment from years ago on that one talk show where he said that if you don't like The Force Awakens, it's because...
Just pissed off that Han Solo gave the fucking Millennium Falcon to a girl. Yeah.
These kinds of answers and comments come from very simple-minded people that don't want to take accountability for their lack of vision. You know, for the fact that they're making garbage products.
I think this is the strat. What you do is you say, why are these people calling me racist? Why are they calling the fan base racist? We're not racist. How could you say that? And then they say, why is there a black person in the movie? I mean, what is this? What are we at the cookout? I don't like this. Not one bit. Why couldn't they get a guy to play the main character? And then go, what? No, we're not we just want good stories. If the woman had a good arc, this would have been better. I really wish that the sequel trilogy ended up being good, because then this shit would ring so much more hollow. It's because the sequels were so bad and so poorly planned from the jump that we got all these people saying this now, because a bunch of executives are dumb as fuck and they don't know how to do anything correctly. Honestly, the fact that Kathleen Kennedy still runs Lucasfilm is an abomination. She should have been fired a long time ago. I don't know what the deal with that is. But she did, oversee Andor, which is the best fucking thing ever made in Star Wars, period. No, not even close. Andor is fucking fire. That's probably the best thing that's ever come out of this universe. Better than the fucking original trilogy. You know, as far as I could tell, this show is like the Game of Thrones of Star Wars. Because when George Lucas ran the company, he used to like give people a lot of leeway to use like things in the Star Wars universe before Disney bought it. Like there used to be like, the fan base used to be much more creative about how they used the Star Wars universe. Like there was it wasn't a series, but there was like a bunch of there was like 2 videos, and it went up on YouTube exclusively. It was like Dorkman versus Ryan or some shit, and it was just 2 dudes like fighting in a warehouse with lightsabers, and it was like really well done. Like that used to happen a lot when George Lucas owned the company, and it doesn't happen as much anymore. A lot of people are afraid of copyright now because Disney owns it, and that's just when a megacorp runs an artistic property, it's just gonna lose the thing that made it, have a glow in its eye. Kind of dead right now, behind the eyes. And I don't think that's good. I don't like that. That makes me sad. I like Star Wars. Anyway, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. And fuck the critical drinker. See you later.